Our next speaker may have the answer. Christel Heydemann is the CEO of Orange Group, a world-leading telecom with 340 million customers across 26 countries.
She's now leading it into a world being disrupted by AI, where the technology never stops moving and the competition never slows down.
In a fast-moving industry, how do you build a culture that can keep pace?
Pedro Furtado-Ruiz, the Co-Chief Investment Officer for Active Strategies, joins her to find out.
Please welcome Christel and Pedro.
A big welcome to Oslo, Christel.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So let's just jump straight into it. So as we just learned from Anthropic, there's a lot of change happening in leadership and in technology at this stage. How are you leading Orange to operate at a new and much faster pace now?
Well, I think a company like Orange that operates in 26 countries, that have a mission that's so clear, it's somehow, and we've been passionate about technology. Of course, we started with copper networks and 2G, GSM at the time. We had Nokia phones, as we've seen earlier. And so the company loves technology changes. So that's the easy part. Now, the difficult part is speed. I think AI is just mind-blowing, and it feels like it keeps accelerating. And so the speed, of course, in a company with 130,000 employees in 26 countries is not a startup. And so it's all about taking decisions, understanding what are one-way decisions, what are two ways where you can go backwards. And that makes a huge difference. So we are just testing. And of course, there's a number of things we have to address, not just Orange, but as a society, because security, I mean, Anthropic knows with Mythos. I mean, there's a lot of debate that are happening with country leadership, with security agencies about, okay, what are we going to unleash when this technology goes in all our hands, whether they are bad or good hands?
And beyond the need for speed, where is AI already having the most impact for your teams or for your customers right now?
So we've trained thousands of our teams, and we've put tools in the hands of our teams so that they could use Gen AI. So, and of course, if you use Gen AI to, go faster in your analysis, email, work, etc., that's the basics. That doesn't really change the company itself. We've launched a number of assistants in our customer service, of course. When we serve more than 300 million of customers, that's a lot of data in terms of, how do we manage the portfolio of offers we have across countries? How do we simplify? So we have AI tools for our sales teams, to be able to propose the best information and to know the customer journey. And these are things we just cannot do without AI. We have, of course, our networks and cybersecurity. Today we have Orange Cyber Defense that's preventing and helping customers cope with cyber attacks. Our networks are so complex. The data that flows through your network, through our networks, is so complex that without AI, it's just not possible. So there's, many areas where we already see the potential of AI. We are not a software development company, so when I meet with Anthropic and I'm told that I'm going to have unlimited capabilities to develop software, I like that promise because it feels like we're going to be able to do things that, frankly speaking, we just could not do because of. Now, the cost of it is still something we haven't tackled.
I imagine that there's a lot of experimentation going on at the moment. How do you create that room for bold innovation and risk-taking in a company that, at the end of the day, is built on critical infrastructure that simply cannot fail?
Well, that's a very good question, and that's really the culture of a company whose purpose is very clear. No matter what happens, extreme events, cyber attacks, our networks, our connectivity services have to work, which means that the design and the way we work is absolutely zero risk, to a point where now, of course, if we think about AI, we are not going to let AI agents manage our core networks because that's not an option. So we've made it very clear, and the company, and especially we come, in France or in many countries actually, we have been the incumbent. So we come from being an administration. So the company value, and when I joined the company, I was very surprised that people think that doing good is applying the process. If I apply the process, I'm safe, I'm doing my job, that's all good. And sometimes we have to challenge, actually very often, we have to challenge because the process is not fast enough, the process was designed for different intent, and sometimes we have way too many processes that end up being contradicting each other's. So that's all the work we're doing on changing that. But in the end, it's been said earlier, the winning mindset, and I've been reflecting on what does winning mean in a company like Orange. Because our teams are excellent in managing crisis. So you would think that today's world is awful. We go from one crisis to another. At Orange, our teams are excellent because extreme events, network outage, cyber attacks, this is when the company unites around one purpose, which is very clear: restore the service, serve our customers. So that's the good thing, given the current environment. Now, of course, when we think about innovation, we have to move from a culture where we were thinking, we launch a service for millions of customers, tens of millions of customers, so everything has to be ready, training the salespeople, etc., which does not work if you want to incubate new solutions. And so we've been designing things where it's okay to fail. It's okay to test and not scale a solution and to fine-tune it. And one of the challenges, of course, like any big industrial company, you're not launching a product for tens of millions of customers unless you know it's going to work. But you can launch a solution beta test, like software development, and then when it's ready, you really scale it. So we've had to change that, and we've done a lot, on cybersecurity. Today, we talk about satellite connectivity complementing our mobile networks. We talk a lot about AI solution, AI agents for our sales team, AI agent for our customers, customer service. And it's back to, telecom operators somehow have been good at taking technology and bringing it to market. But I don't think as an industry, we are very good at coming from the customer needs, the real needs, and then pulling back what type of innovation could go with it. And when I joined the company, I was amazed by the failure rate we had when people move into a store, they sign up for broadband fiber, and guess what? 40% of the time, we would send a technician, fail with the connectivity. And so I was challenging the team, saying, think about companies like Airbus. If 40% of the time, you ship the plane, it crashes. So why are we not collectively in the company trying to address that? But the mindset of the company was, well, it's for a fact that it's 40% failure rate, and they did not realize that maybe we could optimize that. So we've been working on that. This is the type of innovation that maybe is not visible by the engineers, maybe it's not visible, it's very visible by the shop people because they turn up that people are signing up for broadband and they get the service and then they get the bill and they pay and they get their bonus. When, on the contrary, we had people waiting for weeks and eventually canceling their order. So that's the type of innovation which is focused on quality, customer experience, going into the details of our processes and working with our partners on it.
You've mentioned winning, and we heard many simple words from many companies today. You chose for Orange bold, responsible, and caring. So my question is, how do you move that? How do you bring that to life to the 26 countries, from France to the rest of Europe to Africa? To Ajay's words before, how do you make sure that those are the values when you're not in the room?
Well, first, when I joined the company and I asked, okay, what are our values? And there wasn't one answer. So we had values in Africa, we had values in France, we had values for our B2B business. And so I told the team, okay, what makes us a group then? What's the many-in-one value that brings us, which is more than just a sum of divisions? And we spend a lot of time. And given our purpose and the service we provide, it was actually very easy to come up with what creates excitement for our teams. Then we worked on these values around caring for our customers and our people, of course, responsible, people think about responsible, but we've been very clear that responsible is also you're responsible to call it out and to speak up when things go wrong, etc. So And then bold is probably the value where the company is more eager to transform, because this is an expectation from our teams that we want to innovate, we want to be bold. And if you think about the Orange brand, when it was created, I mean, more than 20 years ago, it was very bold. So there's also a link with the past and where we come from. But in the end, it's all about leadership. It's all about, as you said, it's when you're not in the room that things happen. And it's about, I mean, if I take bold, for instance, first of all, the values work together. It's not just one or the other. It's also about speaking up about our failures, being it, I mean, and it's okay to fail. I mean, it's not okay to lose billions. It's okay to fail, and to fail fast if you fail. And it's okay to speak about it as part of our culture. So there's a lot of things we've changed, starting in the management team. And then, of course, we worked on how do we assess leaders, who do we promote, why do we promote people, and that's where you connect the dots between the values that can't be just words on the wall and the different actions we take on a day-to-day basis. And it's very clear that I realized, I mean, being a CEO, that sometimes there's a lot more comments in the company about the type of questions I asked than about the answers that we make to those questions. And sometimes people tell me in the field, oh, it seems that you're interested in understanding what we do there. And so there's a lot of myth as well about the CEO, what I say, what we discuss in the management team, and that's also how we shape. So we tell stories about as well the way we work as a management team, and then it's about being in the field, focusing on customers, and again, I mean, our teams are super proud. They are very knowledgeable. They have deep technical know-how, and so I mean, we spend a lot of time understanding what are those jewels and talents in the field that we are not, I mean, enabling to do more for the company. So, and there's a lot of reasons for that in a company of our size, of course.
And you spent 5 years in the board before becoming CEO. How does that experience influence the way that you dealt with the company from day one?
Well, first of all, I have a very direct relationship with my board because I've been sitting on the board, and I realized, I mean, of course, I came with my experience from different companies, very different culture. And so when I came to the company, I had a feeling about the culture from the topics that we were not discussing in the board, and I thought they were important to discuss. And then, of course, I mean, the CEO is not being a director, and so, but there's a lot of things I still discovered by joining the company, but I had already very clear ideas about what are the things we should fix, what are the question. I was frustrated somehow as a director, not having answers. And I remember, and I had a lot of discussion with our investors, there was a kind of myth that Orange was a company where, I mean, the French government owns 23% of Orange, and there was a lot of myth around, I mean, investors and the French government and things that we could not do because of that. And so being on the board for 5 years, I was very clear on the type of debates we had where there was absolutely full consensus amongst shareholders and board members. And so there was a lot of, I mean, myth around some of our shareholding structure that actually were neither true in the company nor on the board. And so that's the type of thing as well that was very useful, engaging with investors and all type of stakeholders, having that history of the 5 years, having in mind some of the debates where we couldn't, I mean, conclude as a board. And I think the world keeps on having a very direct relationship and transparent relationship with my board. And I've met with a lot of CEOs when they get appointed from the company, and they have difficult times understanding what should I discuss with my board, why should I hide from my board, etc. And I've been very open from day one, saying, look, these are the things we really have to tackle as a board, because I felt like I was a peer joining, and I'm still a director on the board as well.
Let's bring it home for a second and focus on Europe. There's a lot of chatter around competitiveness of Europe in the global stage. The scale, is scale required for high performance?
It depends on your business. But if you are in telecom is, I mean, capital-intensive business where we invest a lot in our infrastructure. So scale matters. We're a fixed cost business. It's very simple to explain that if you're number one in your market, you have more margin to invest and to do things than if you're number 2, 3, or 4. And this is, I mean, very easy. You look at the math, etc. And so that's the type of discussion where, I mean, and I've been very open with, I mean, all the stakeholders in Europe, being country leaders, regulators, that, I mean, we have to change something because, I mean, first of all, our networks are critical infrastructure, and I think nobody would challenge that these days. And we've been in Europe for quite some time in a situation where many telecom operators had to sell their assets to continue to invest in next generation assets. That doesn't sound right. And so I think this is where we've probably gone too far in a number of areas. We need regulation. I mean, our business is very critical, so we need regulation. But Europe is missing the scale of Europe. I mean, I operate in 8 countries in Europe. I mean, I can't copy-paste a service. If I have a successful service that we launch in Spain, it's impossible to copy-paste across Europe, simply because, I mean, I'm not going to go, but the list of things we would have to unleash to be able to do that is quite long. And it's, I mean, it's easy to say simplify. If we go into the details, there's always a good reason why. And sometimes, by the way, the company itself loves this type of complexity because I have country CEOs who love to be the king of their empire. They don't want to share. And so we need to create pride as well in copying from others and being fast. So I think speed is really the thing we use now to measure because, I mean, in a world of unlimited capital, unlimited time, it's very easy for everyone to do the same thing. That's not the world we live in these days. So that's also the type of thing we're driving in the company.
Well, it's clear that Orange is not just about being everywhere. It's about like leading from the front in technology, in speed, and in culture. So thank you so much, Christel, for being with us today.
Thank you.